Okay, so in continuation to previous video, so now I'm showing how we can manage the sessions, and similarly how we can use the request implicit object. So we can see, so for setting the attribute, for demonstration this concept, so I will take the three JSP pages. So one will be having a mains page where there will be the two text fields. You need to write your roll number and the password, and just then just write your name and your roll number, your password, and then click on the submit button. So it will redirect you a one intermediate JSP page, so where it will check, so based on the parameters it gets get parameter. With the help of this get parameter method, we will set the attribute. So session is maintaining the whether the information are coming from the right sources or from the right client. So there will be a specific time frame in between this time frame. If we get the request, if we get the data, it means it will be valid. So if beyond this time frame, if we get the data or we request, it will be considered as invalid. So I'm showing you how we can proceed with the request and the session objects. So you can check here. So we have a three JSP files. So first in my main JSP file, you can see here on the top there is on the right left top, that is the index in JSP, and then the final one, the my JSP. Right. So I will start with this main.jsp. Let me show exactly the template of this. So all the files are under the test.jsp slash, and the name is the main.jsp. Right. So this is actually the main page. So where if I am write anything, my name and some password, so you can enter any password random, right? Once I click on submit, so you can see here. So in this file, you can see I'm using the form tag. So under this form tag, the action is, so all the data will be redirected to the index.jsp page. So index.jsp page is here. So once it gets the data, so once we club all these files, once we make a complete final projects, so if we append the databases, so the databases will be included at this interpreter page. So it is an interpreter page. Let's suppose if I'm a monitor of the class, so I will collect your information. If all the information are correct, then I will tell you to send to the class. Yeah, enter into the class or enter into the examination room, like this. So it's mean, so all the data, the database code will be added here. So but the database code, so in the next video I will tell you how we can include the database codes, right? So for this moment I'm just using the simple main JSP page, so no need, just I'm using. So just the thing is that I'm just retrieving only this name. So actually this text field having some name, so you can see here with the help of this input text. So input is the tag name, these are the attributes. So one of the attribute is type, or if the type attribute is text, so it will be calculating only, it will get the only the characters values, right? So it's having some IDs, not required right moment. So and the name of the text field, so name of the text field is uname. So I'm just, so with the help of uname you can retrieve. So once I click on this submit button, so all the data which is captured by this text field will be transferred to this page, index.jsp. Right. So index.jsp, so I am using here, you can see, so I am with the help of the request object, and the request object, so the HTTP request having the method, that is the get parameter. So the get parameter method takes a parameter name. So to text the name of the text field, it was the uname. So with the help of the uname, whatever the user is typing here, it will be retrieved with the help of this get parameter. So because it is a string value, so it should be stored under the string object. So string object name is name. Actually, it is a name. So right. So I'm storing the whatever the user is providing, and whatever the user enter here will be retrieved here in the form of a string object under the variable reference name is name. Now once we get the data, so or even we can check whether this name is null. If name is null, if user is providing nothing, so no need to create the session attributes, right? So even we can check it also. But let's suppose the user is providing something. So with the help of the session object, there is a method that is set attribute. So HTTP session having a method that is a set attribute. And set attribute is, this is the actual name of the attribute. So what exactly, what the username, what the attribute name you are providing. So you can take any name like the username, uname, u1, u2, u3, or my name, yeah, hero name, and anything. You can take it as a name. And actually, so it takes, this method takes the two parameters. The first is attribute name. So I'm just giving some recognition, right? And the second phase or the second parameter is the actual value. So actual value will be retrieved with the help of this with this method request.get parameter, and request.get parameter get the data from the first name. So this text will be stored into this string object, and this string object will be stored, will be helpful to set the attributes, session set attributes, right? Now once we set the session, now it is the time to redirect to the main page. So let's suppose it is the main page where we get all the data. So this is the third page, which is helpful to showcase the final page. So here you can print anything, here you can write anything like this. So if it is successful, if the session is successful, right? So else I'm just giving it here. If it is successful, so yeah, hello friends. So my name is Naveen Chauhan, Assistant Professor, CSE KIET. Right, so I'm using this particular, right. So right, so and this now we need to move this to last lines, the request dispatcher. So request dispatcher. Request dispatcher, we need to create an object of request dispatcher class. So request dispatcher is required to send your content to the server, to redirect you to another page. So if you are on the server and you want to redirect to another page, so I'm jumping from second page to third page, right? So the request is an implicit object. So this HTTP session having a one method, that is a get request dispatcher. So the request dispatcher taking only the one parameter, that is the jumping URL. So now the third URL where we want to move is the myJSP.jsp, which is the third one. This is the right top one, myJSP.jsp, right? So myJSP.jsp is I'm just passing it here. So it will create the object of request dispatcher, and this object name is RD. So this class having a method that is the forward. So you can refer some good blogs where you can see the difference between the send, redirect, and the forward. So I'm just giving a moment about these two techniques, the send, redirect, and the forward. So if I'm talking, if I'm on the client side and if I want to redirect to the Google page, so in that case I will use the send redirect. So request.send redirect method. Why? So because the data is already handed over to the server, now it is a responsibility of the server to check, to create an attribute. So it means now we are on the server side. So if we are on the server side, so for redirecting purpose, there is a method that is the forward, and it comes under the class of request dispatcher. So this means the rd.forward, and there is already two implicit objects, request and response. So whatever it is carrying by these parameters here, so it will be redirected to the next page, right? Now it is redirected to the next page, that is the myJSP.jsp. So now you can see here. So I'm just checking. So on the second page, actually we set the attributes. Now we are get the attribute. So I'm using the get attribute. If the session is already created, then we can checking. So session.get attribute uname, because here was the attribute name was the uname. So similarly, I'm just getting the whether the any session is created with respect to this particular name, uname. If it is null, so it means session was not created, so it means you will be redirected to the Google page. Otherwise, else, you can see here, else, if it is created, so it will print the welcome user, and similarly it will print your name, whatever the name you are taking on the first page, it will be printed on the third page, right? Even this more element, more content also with the help of the HTML pages, right? Now I just show you the demonstration. So Naveen Chauhan, submit. I'm just submitting it. Yes. So actually it is the first page, the main JSP is redirected to the, actually it is handed over the content to the index JSP. First it retrieved the request get parameter name, it created the session. Once the session is created, it's redirecting to the my JSP page. Here in my JSP page, I'm checking the session, and session was already created, so it's me immediately it's handed over to the condition else. Based on this condition, so welcome user Naveen Chauhan. Hello friends, my name is Naveen Chauhan, assistant professor. So again we can go back. Again I can write anything here. So even you can check also your password also. So if you know the name, so welcome user, right? And your password is, I'm actually writing the same password. I'm just copying, right? Why I'm taking this parameter lname? The reason is, you can see the input type is the password and the name is lname. So based on this name, you can retrieve it. So lname will be redirected to the here, right? Request.get parameter, and all the fields will be moving it here. Now, yeah, yes. Yes, you can see welcome user Naveen Chauhan, and your password is, actually it was randomly typed. So yes, I hope you all understand this concept of creating a session and using the request and response implicit objects, right? So in the next video we will see how we can create the databases, how we can create the tables, maintaining the tables, how we store the database, and with the help of simple JSP pages, how we can update the content which is already maintained by your databases, right? And then after that we will combine all the concepts of we have already gone through, and that will help to make our complete projects, right? So thank you everyone.